Well, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, one and only AR Legends, and yeah, guys, today I am back with the next part of what if Naruto was neglected by his family and had the powers of Cell Max. So, yeah, guys, hopefully, you guys enjoyed the previous part of this series, and if you guys have not seen it, please, guys, check it out. You guys will definitely like it. And yeah, guys, I have already made a manhwa channel, so if you guys are interested in manhwa recap channels, then that channel is for you guys. The link is in the description below. So please subscribe to that channel and like it as well. So yeah guys, before starting this video, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video. If you guys are new to the channel or if you guys have not subscribed yet, please guys do so. It would be really helpful to me as I want to reach 20k subscribers, and you guys subscribing would be really appreciated. And yeah guys, the link of my Instagram is also in the description below. So please follow me on Instagram. So without wasting any more of your time, let us start the video. Last time we left off as we saw that Naruto and Team 7 has finally arrived in the forest of death, as Orochimaru was the one who had decided to attack them, wanted to see and mark Sasuke and Kyomi. After all, Itachi was out of his league and he wanted people who had similar potential, so therefore he decided to go after Sasuke and Kyomi rather than the other Uchihas. Well, he was not expecting Naruto to be there. After all, the information he has gotten did not, you can say, told him that Naruto was that powerful. After all, Kabuto had only the information that he had good taijutsu skills. Other than that, nothing. While on the other hand, Naruto decided to fight against Orochimaru. Well, it was completely one-sided that Orochimaru even lost his sword, as which he was rather proud of, as it was simply shattered into thousand pieces. Afterward, Naruto decided to beat Orochimaru to the ground, as Orochimaru was beyond shock as he decided to use over 80% of his power, but it didn't work. Naruto decided to end Orochimaru because he was not much of a fun anyways, as he was about to end him, but Orochimaru was able to reverse summon himself into the world of the snakes. Afterward, Naruto as well as Team 7 decided to go to the tower where Minato and, you can say, finally all the Jonins also arrived. In this time, Menma was lingering around the room of Naruto. After all, he wanted to talk with Kyomi as soon as possible. He didn't care what his father has to say. After all, he loved Kyomi and he wanted her, so he will have to talk with her, as Minato was not agreeing with Menma's whole, you can say, marriage proposal. After all, he did not like the Uchihas, and if he were to marry off Menma to them, then they will have a QB Jinchuriki under their command, which Minato simply cannot afford. After all, his position as the Hokage was still under a lot of threat, him being a civilian Hokage, as the clan heads did not like that. While on the other hand, the matches started to go on, and finally the match began, in which it was none other than Naruto versus Lee, as Lee decided to show his youth. After all, he had a crush on Kyomi and he wanted to prove himself how youthful he was. Well, it didn't work out so well, as Naruto decided to beat Lee down pretty easily, as Lee decided to use 6 gate, which he was barely able to open. But to the surprise and shock of many people, Naruto did not even flinch by the attack of Lee, shocking all the people that were there present, as Minato quickly realized that Naruto had a lot more potential than he previously thought. His taijutsu was not just taijutsu, no, it was around cage level skills, and Minato wanted that in his camp rather than the camp of his opponent. So he decided to, you can say, approach Naruto as soon as possible. While on the other hand, the Jonins were pretty shocked when they saw that how easily Naruto defeated someone who has open gates. While on the other hand, the shinobis from Komo and, you can say, Rock Village were pretty angry and nervous at the same time. This kind of monster should not be in the Chunin exam, as they thought in their mind. They have to report it to their respective cages as soon as possible. While on the other hand, Naruto was, you can say, finally it was time for Menma to enter. Menma in this time was angry, he was confused, he was trained by the best from the very young age by Minato, Kushina, Jiraiya, Tsunade. All of them had trained him, and he was even stronger than Mito. So why? Why was it that the other people were stronger than him? Why couldn't his father understand his feeling? Why Kiyomi was rejecting him. All of that turned into anger as Omoe from Kumo was the one to fight him. And you can say, by the look of, you can say, bored expression on the face of, you can say, Omoe, Menma lost it as he attacked Omoe all over the place. As in the end, he released a Rasengan into the stomach of Omoe, killing him there, as shocking all the people that were there, as the people from Como were furious at that, as they wanted to kill Menma, but there was little they could do about it, while on the other hand, you can say Minato was pretty angry about it. After all, this will put him even more difficult situation in the council, especially Danzo and Fugaku will try to take advantage of the situation. He was cursing Menma in his mind, damn it, he had only decided to, you can say, separate Naruto because he wanted to train the Jinchuriki, and now the situation has gotten a bit of out of hands. So yeah guys, that was the last part of the series. So if you guys have not seen it, please guys check it out. So without any further ado, let us start the story from here. As Naruto was casually having a walk all over, you can say, in the training ground, as Naruto was simply doing his own thing. After all, there are gonna be 1 month before the finals of the Chunin exam, but Naruto was not much concerned about it. After all, there's not gonna be much of a fun to begin with, as suddenly he noticed some of the chakra signatures that were keeping an eye on him. As Naruto simply smirked at that, he takes that bag. It seemed that these are gonna be fun, as Naruto could easily tell who these people actually were. Suddenly, he was surrounded by the shinobis. As Naruto looked around to see that these were none other than rock shinobis. As Naruto simply shook his head, he already knew that something like this would happen, but who is he to complain? After all, he is having fun of his life. As he look around, as finally a Jonin of Rock Village finally stepped forward. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, you are to come with us silently. As Naruto looked towards him with an amused expression on his face. And what if I do not agree with you? At this, Rock Shinobi smirked evilly as he said, well kid, I have already know about your talent in taijutsu, but do not worry, these people are ninjutsu and genjutsu master, so you're not gonna get the opportunity to use your pathetic taijutsu. After saying that, he made a hand signal, and just like that, a barrier was made as Jonin smirked. Well then, kid, you're trapped here with us. As Naruto looked towards him and started to laugh as he said, well, you're wrong on that front. It is actually you guys who are trapped here with me. After saying that, his eyes glowed green for a second, and just like that, he was gone within a blur. And while, on the other hand, after some time, Naruto finally came out of the shattered barrier, only one person was left behind who was muttering like crazy as if he has lost his mind. That was none other than the Jonin who had come to capture Naruto. Naruto simply shook his head and decided to leave, as after some time, some, you can say, Ambo or Y from the rock village wanted to see what was going on here, as they realized that these were none other than their leaders. So they decided to get him and get the hell out of here. After all, they were keeping an eye so that other people do not enter here, and they will be able to capture Naruto Namikaze. He was too much of a threat to be left alone just like that. So their leader, the Tsuchikage, had decided to capture him. After all, the information that how he was not close to Minato was pretty, you can say, known to many people, especially the other villages. So they were confident that they will not think much of it, and even, you can say, Rock Village will not be accused of anything. And they were able to enter into Konoha thanks to some of the help they were able to get. But now it seemed that the plan has failed. While on the other hand, Minato was simply, you can say, looking towards Menma, who was looking a bit nervous, as Kushina and Jiraiya were also present, as Mito was also nervously looking towards Menma. As Minato said, well Menma, what do you have to say for yourself? At this point, Minato was pretty angry about this whole situation. He wanted to use this to his advantage, but it seemed that it has become a liability, especially Menma, who was getting out of hands. As Menma looked towards Minato, well, Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't think that he would be that weak. As Minato gritted his teeth, Menma, I've already told you not to use Rasengan just like that. Not only that, he was too weak. You already knew that. Not only did you use the Rasengan, but you also used the power of the QB. Give me one good reason that I should not steal off your QB chakra permanently. As Menma looked towards Minato in utter shock, Dad, you cannot do that. That power is mine. It belongs to me. You cannot steal it away just like that. As Minato glared towards him, that is enough, Menma. But before he could say anything, Kushina spoke up. Minato, you should not scold him that much. After all, it was just a mistake and it would not happen again. As Kushina shrugged at that, as Minato glared towards her, as Jiraiya also spoke up. Alright, Minato, I think that is enough. Do not worry. In this 1 month, I will train Menma, myself, and Kushina will train Mito, and I will teach him to more control QB's chakra. It must be QB who is influencing Menma. Do not worry, Minato. I will train him personally. As Minato let out a sigh of frustration. They could not understand. After all, he was the Hokage, and he had no doubt that council will bring this situation in the next council meeting. He was about to say something, but then a ambu landed in the Hokage office. Lord Hokage, the council has been summoned and they have requested your presence. As Minato grated his teeth and slammed his fist on the table. I'll be there, as he screamed at the Ambu, who was pretty nervous and decided to get the hell out of there. As Jiraiya looked towards Minato with a frown, Minato, you should keep calm. They will try to bring trouble to you, but do not forget, you're the Hokage and you should always keep calm. At this, Kushina said, alright Menma, Mito, we should go train. After all, you guys have destinies to fulfill. At that point, Minato wanted to yell at something but decided to calm himself. After all, he is gonna have a lot of trouble in the council meeting as he flashed away. While on the other hand, Jiraiya looked towards Menma, alright Menma, we should get on with our training. As Menma simply nodded at that, as decided to leave with Jiraiya and Mito with Kushina, while on the other hand, in the council room, Fugaku had a smug look on his face, as well as Danzo, who was, you can say, almost smirking, but he was able to keep his calm, as well as the elders, who were pretty happy about it. Only, you can say, Third Hokage had a calm expression on his face, as Minato finally flashed in the Hokage, you can say, in the council room, and decided to take his position. Alright, this council meeting begins now. So what is the agenda today? At this, you can say, finally, some of the civilian council members spoke up about the budget of the Chunin exam and the profit, all that, as Minato was pretty happy, even though these are pretty boring things. But today, he was happy. Hopefully, they will forget about it. Well, who's he kidding? As he simply shook his head, and finally, the Chunin exam, you can say, situation was over. And just when Minato was hopefully able to dismiss the council meeting, finally, the smug Fugaku finally spoke up. Well, Lord Hokage, this council do have another concern that is pretty, you can say, concerning the safety of the village. As Minato cursed under his breath and glared towards Fugaku, who was smugly looking towards Minato. And what would be that concern, Uchiha-san? At this, Fugaku smiled. Well, of course, the Jinchuriki, Lord Hokage. All of us has gotten the information that your son, the QB Jinchuriki, has lost control in the Chunin exam and even killed off a poor child. At this, Minato was about to yell at him that how he was not exactly a child, but he let out a sigh of relief, you can say, from inside, and decided to look at the situation clearly, as he said, well, these are Chunin exams, and if you are concerned that people die in it, well then you should put your children out of it as soon as possible. After all, there is still time, Uchiha-san. As Fugaku gritted his teeth, it seemed that Minato has, you can say, decided to play the game. Well then, they were politicians, and so he's gonna play it along. Well, Lord Hokage, do not worry about my children. They are well trained and well behaved, and they will not attack defenseless people just like that. As Minato glared towards Fugaku, as Danzo spoke up, well, Lord Hokage, these are valid concerns of the villagers. After all, Menma Namikaze has shown the sign of instability. He has even attacked his older brother Naruto Namikaze at one scenario, as he gave some papers in which there were some reports. Not only that, he even used the power of the Kyuubi of One Tail, if I'm not concerned, while in a simple spar. That is a concerning matter, Lord Hokage. We cannot have him attacking our own shinobi, his own comrade, just like that. as the elders also started to speak up. It seemed that the QB is influencing him. His training is not going well. As Danzo decided to take advantage of the situation, decided to speak up. Well, Lord Hokage, you can always give him to me. I will train him personally. And as he was about to say something, but Minato slammed his fist on the table. That is enough. I have heard more than enough. As for Menma's situation, I have already handled it. Jiraiya Sensei will personally train Menma and his seal is being examined. Do not worry. If there is any other concern, then I will deal with it personally. After saying that, alright, this meeting is adjourned. After saying that, he stood up and flashed away, while on the other hand, some of the council members were not happy, but people like Fugaku and Danzo were smirking after all. They have already planted the seed of, you can say, Minato's, you can say, Minato not training the Jinchuriki well, and they should be handed over. This will weaken the position of Minato the moment he will give off, you can say, both of the Jinchurikis. His position would almost be gone. At this, many of the clan heads were pretty happy. After all, Minato, being a civilian Hokage, was not in their advantage. While, on the other hand, Tadokage frowned a little at that. It seemed that Minato was having a bit of trouble. It seemed that he would have to need to have a talk with his successor. After saying that, he also disappeared from the council room. While, on the other hand, 1 month in this time has already passed. None of the people has seen Naruto in this time. He was training on his own, while far away on a desolate planet, as there was nothing but rocks and debris everywhere, as Naruto was standing there, as his aura was fluctuating between yellow and red, as Naruto's eyes changed into that of a red as it let out a roar, and just like that, his hair stood up, turning pure red, and his energy was out of control, as after some time, it finally calmed down, while the whole planet was shaking violently, as Naruto looked towards his hand and started to laugh. Well, it seemed that I finally have a hold of that transformation. Soon enough, I will have it all under control. My plans are already going pretty well. As he looked to the side, there were dead bodies all over the place. These were none other than the Utsukis who were present in this planet. So Naruto decided to have some training partners. After all, they decided to, you can say, turn their servants into fruit and eat them to become stronger. And Naruto was waiting for that. So he decided to have a bit of fun in this planet. Well, too bad, they were simply too weak even when he was holding back. As Naruto looked towards a tree that was planted here, and finally it has shed off lost of its petals, and finally a fruit was there. As Naruto simply grabbed the fruit and started to eat it, and just like that, his chakra once again exploded as his eyes turned into a different shape. And Naruto simply laughed. Well, this power was interesting, but it was not comparable to his original power, but he simply shook his head. And his eyes once again returned back to their casual color as Naruto looked towards the, you can say, direction of the elemental nations and disappeared within violent, you can say, speeds. As after some time, he has finally arrived to the elemental nations. As they look around, as there was still time for the finals, maybe he should give a small visit to the rock country. After all, they did try to abduct him. Well, that could be fun. As Naruto rushed towards the village hidden in the rocks, while in the meantime, Onoki was already on his way to Konoha. After all, today is gonna be the finals of the Chunin exam, so he should be in Konoha as soon as possible. While on the other hand, Raikage was also going towards Konoha. Onoki had decided to bring along one of his Jinchuriki. After all, he wanted to show his strength and how Rock Village is not to be, you can say, a mess pit. He has already gotten the information that his plan to abduct Naruto Namakase has gone array, and the Jonin which went has already lost his mind, as if he has seen some kind of monster, as if he has seen all the 9 bijus attacking him or ravaging. But Onoki simply shook his head. Soon enough, he will calm down and he will get the exact information. While on the other hand, Naruto has finally arrived to the rock village as he looked down towards the village hidden in the rocks. And he looked towards them with an amused expression on his face. He could sense that there were some powerful shinobis there. Well then, as Naruto made a hand gesture, and just like that, his body, you can say, was engulfed in a in a long coat as his face was covered. As Naruto simply smirked at that. There was still time for him to have a bit of fun in the elemental nation, so he's not gonna just expose himself just like that. But this was one of the abilities he has gained after eating some of the chakra fruit, so it is pretty intriguing. Maybe he should give it a try. After all, he was using his mainly his own energy for too long, and people always say that how he always use his taijutsu. Well then, it's about time that he used something like shinobi's ninjutsu. As Naruto simply laughed at that. These are the abilities he has gained from the chakra fruit, and it is about time that he, you can say, use them for something. As Naruto simply smirked at that. Finally, he was, you can say, some distance away from the hidden stone village, and suddenly he was surrounded by Ambu and Shinobi. Who are you and what are you doing here? They have already sensed, you can say, strange levels of chakra. These were beyond that of a cage level and reaching that of a Biju's level, and they were a bit nervous about it. They've already given signal to evacuate the civilians, as Naruto was not holding back his chakra. He wanted to see what he has truly gained from eating several chakra fruits. So it is about time that he used some of the abilities of it. As Naruto looked towards them, as he said, well then, I was here for a bit of fun, and since you guys have decided to entertain me, well then, maybe we should begin without wasting any more time. After all, I do have a test to take. After saying that, he looked towards them and disappeared as he appeared in front of the, you can say, the team of Ambu. Just when they were about to dispel, Naruto simply pointed his hand towards them, and all of them froze just like that as Naruto pulled his hand, and their bodies was drained of all of its chakra, turned into literal skeletons, and you can say Naruto looked towards the dead body. Well, that is amusing. As Naruto looked towards the other people who were pretty shocked but decided to go through hand sign and release their, you can say, art techniques, Naruto pointed his hand towards the techniques as an explosion of energy was released. Shinra Tensai, as Naruto thought in his mind, as a gravitational force slammed into the shinobis, turning their bodies and bones into dust. As Naruto looked towards the gates of, you can say, Hidden Stone Village and decided to enter into it. The moment he entered, several beams of, you can say, ninjutsu was released towards him, as Naruto simply laughed as he pointed his hand towards it, as all the, you can say, ninjutsu techniques were absorbed. Well then, since you guys have decided to give me gifts, well, I'm so generous. Here, you can have them all tenfolds. After saying that, you can say a huge beam of, you can say, pure chakra was released. As taking over, you can say it almost split through the hidden stone village like it was nothing. As Naruto simply smirked at that, his chakra has turned white after he has ate that last chakra fruit. That was a bit fun. So Naruto said, alright, so I think that I should go through some ninjutsu. Well then, here it goes, fire style. As Naruto made hand signs. Well, who am I kidding? I do not even know the hand signs. Oh well. Whatever. As Naruto made some weird hand signs, after that he opened his mouth as a gigantic stream of pure black fire was released from his mouth, rushing towards the village and engulfing it. As several shinobis who were rushing towards the area were beyond shocked. These were the fires of Amaterasu, as it quickly engulfed many of the shinobis who were arriving here and several of the buildings. As Naruto smirked at that, well, that was fun. This was one of the abilities he has gained from eating the chakra fruit. As Naruto started to fly in air as he opened his palm, and the, you can say, silver energy started to release from it as it started to grow and grow and grow. What do my father like to call it? The Rasengan. As a gigantic farm of Rasengan was formed with pure silver energy, as Naruto threw it towards the, you can say, the Tsuchikage tower, as it quickly engulfed it as a huge explosion took place, shaking the whole place. In this time, you can say finally the Jinchuriki Han has finally arrived. You will stop this at this moment. As after saying that, he was quickly engulfed with red chakra as he opened his mouth and powering up a Biju Dharma towards Naruto. As Naruto looked towards the ball of energy, as Naruto pointed his hand towards it, as it was quickly absorbed. As Naruto smirked at that, well, as he looked towards the Jinchuriki. Well. So the Jinchuriki has decided to show his face. This should be fun. After saying that, he decided to descend to the level of the ground. He was quickly surrounded by hundreds of shinobis. They were angry about it. Who could have thought that they were attacked in such a moment? After all, when they were vulnerable, after all, their Onoki, Lord Tsuchikage, has went off with several of their high-ranking shinobi, especially after they have joined hands with Orochimaru to attack Konoha to weaken it even further. After all, Orochimaru has prepared a shield to make his, you can say, the Flying Raijin pretty useless. So they were confident that once Minato's flying Raijin became useless, they will take him down. And over 5,000 shinobis has gone with Lord Onoki. So they were pretty vacant at this point. As Naruto looked towards Sam, as he was a bit confused why there were so less shinobi. As he quickly grabbed the head of one of the Jonin who was trying to sneak up on him and quickly read through his mind. As Naruto was a bit confused, but then a smirk came to his face as he burst into laughter as he said, "This should be fun." Well then, it is really bad for you guys. After all, this is purely a coincidence. Even if Anoki was here, I wouldn't care much about it. It would have been a bit more fun. But since your best shinobi are already on their way, well then, I will entertain them later. As for you guys, it is too bad. As Naruto moved his hand and suddenly the gravity started to shift as all the shinobis that were present there were quickly in utter shock. Their control over their body was quickly stopped as they started to float in mid-air. As Naruto pointed his hand towards them as his fingers started to glow. Well, this is one of the techniques I wanted to use. Well then, perhaps as he was about to do something, but suddenly he was attacked. As Naruto was a bit confused why this guy was not, you can say, affected, as this was none other than Han, who was using now all tails of his, you can say, Biju. As Naruto looked towards him, well then, since you want to go first, well, I will fulfill your last wish. As Naruto simply shrugged his hand, as all the people that were, you can say, floating in the air were frozen in mid-air. I will take care of you guys later. As for you, well then, bring it on. As Han rushed towards Naruto, as he said, "You will die." As he was in full control of his power, as he let out a stream of, you can say, hot steam towards Naruto he was surrounded. As Naruto simply moved his hand and the dome of gravitational energy simply pushed everything away, as Han, who was trying to sneak up on Naruto, was also blasted away outside of the village. As Naruto appeared in front of him, as Han was panting a little, but it was time for him to use his full power. Finally, they were outside of the village and he was only holding back because they were still in the village. This was a perfect opportunity for him to take this guy down no matter what. He will sacrifice himself to protect the Hidden Stone village. As after saying that, he started to pump chakra in his body as Naruto looked towards him with an amused expression on his face, and just like that, he has transformed into the full form of his respective Biju. As he looked towards Naruto, "It is over. This is your last opportunity. Give up, and I will be merciful on you and kill you painlessly." As Naruto looked towards him, "Well, that are rather bold statements. Why don't you bring it on and show me your strength? After all, I am itching to fight a Biju." As you can say, Han finally rushed towards Naruto with, you can say, impressive speed. After all, his Biju was like a horse and dolphin, as he tried to attack Naruto and kicked him, sending him flying away. As Han opened his mouth, this was his opportunity as he powered up his full power Biju Dharma and rushed towards Naruto as a gigantic explosion finally took place at the center of the forest where they were present. As you can say, Han was looking towards the area, hoping to see a dead body. Well, there was no dead body. Then there would be only one thing. His body must have, you can say, turned into dust. As Han let out a sigh of relief, this was over. He was about to de-transform, but suddenly his head was grabbed brutally. As Naruto said, "Well, that did tickle a little. Now it's my turn." After saying that, he started to, you can say, lift the whole bijou into the air and slam it into the ground at such force that all of it was shattered. As Naruto threw the full form of the bijou in the center of the village of the stone, as the shinobis were trying to move, but all of them were suspended in the air. Naruto did not care much about the civilians. After all, they did not have chakra, so Naruto only targeted those people who had active chakra networks, and that was the reason they were suspended in the air. As finally Naruto looked towards Han and kicked him once again, as he was pushed into deeper into the village as all the buildings were destroyed. The main tower of the Tsuchikage was already destroyed and the civilians were already evacuated from the village. So now it was a perfect opportunity for him. This was now his playing ground. Well, he was mainly here to test the strength of the Hidden Stone village, but now, since they were over, he was hoping to see the face of Inoki when he will come back to see that how he didn't even have a village. Well, he has already decided not to kill Inoki when he will return back to the village. After all, he was still hoping to see his face when he realized that he no longer was a cage of a hidden village. As not to smirk at that, as you can say Han finally stood up. He could not understand. He was sure that he had hit him with his, you can say, full power Bijudama. While on the other hand, inside of the mindscape, Han was panting hard. His Biju finally spoke up. Han, he's too powerful. You should escape as soon as possible. You should return to Anoki and explain the whole situation to him. As Han simply shook his head, if I were to leave, he will kill off all these people and I cannot allow it. Give me all of your power. I know that you're still holding back. As the Biju was silent for some time, well, Han, this is a forbidden technique. Both of us will fuse together, but the return of this technique would be that both of us will die. As Han looked towards him, what do you mean by that? As the Biju explained about the legendary Guardian mode that will give him immeasurable power, he would be comparable to that of a 8-tailed Jinchuriki, if not even the Cubious Jinchuriki power. This will give him temporary power, but that will kill both of them. As Han thought it for some time, but nodded nonetheless. Alright, as Naruto was a bit confused, something was off. As suddenly, you can say Han started to de-transform. As Naruto was wondering if he has given up, that would not be much of a fun. As Han said, well, you asked for it. Suddenly, his whole body was engulfed with red chakra. This was different than before, and just like that, from behind him were 5 tails, which has finally appeared. As Han looked towards him, his appearance has also changed a little. Now, he was looking like, you can say, a combination of a dolphin and a horse. That was on his face, and 5 tails were behind him. As Han moved like a blur, as Naruto was taken aback a little, his fist slammed into the arm of Naruto as Naruto was able to stop him. And now Naruto was looking a bit amused. After all, this chakra was trying to siphon off his, you can say, life force. As Naruto laughed a little as if that would be possible. As Naruto started to, you can say, now dodge the attacks of Han. As Han was moving like a blur, many shinobis who has noticed it started to gain a bit of, you can say, hope. Hoping that Han would be powerful enough now to take him on. They had never seen this kind of power. As Naruto was also a bit confused and amused at the same time. It seemed that this is some kind of fusion, but Naruto could also feel that this guy's life force was depleting rapidly. And soon enough, he would be dead. Well then, if that is the case, Naruto is gonna milk him for every bit of fun he was worth. As Naruto fist slammed into the face of Han, sending him flying. Well, since you have decided to sacrifice yourself, well then, entertain me. After all, this is your last purpose in life. After saying that, Naruto's whole body started to glow with, you can say, energy. If we are using chakra cloaks, well then, both of us can do that. As Naruto was engulfed in pure white chakra, 6, you can say, truth-seeking orbs appeared behind him. His eyes changed into that of a strange pattern of Rinnegan, and you can say, Sharingan, as this was the eyes of the Jubi that were now present in the eyes of Naruto. His face was still covered, so people could not tell who this guy actually was. as Naruto pointed his hand towards Han, who was now moving towards Naruto. After all, he could tell that his life force was depleting, so he should attack Naruto as soon as possible. After all, from the information he has gotten, his attacks will, you can say, affect the life force of this guy and kill him. Even if he were to die, this guy would follow suit in few years, if not, and hopefully in few months or if not days, as he rushed towards Naruto. As Naruto pointed his hand towards him, dark destruction. As after saying that, his clenched his face. Suddenly, Han was frozen. He could feel each and every cell of his body was under attack. Something was wrong. This was not possible. As Naruto smirked at that, his chakra has infected Han's body, and now attacking each and every part of his body. As Han gritted his teeth, it doesn't matter. He was already dead, so he will take this guy with him. So Han rushed towards Naruto once again, making, you can say, his hand covered in steam. As he said, die. As after saying that, he pointed both of his hands towards Naruto as huge form of steam was released in a, you can say, huge explosion, trying to engulf whole body of Naruto. As Naruto opened his hand, and just like that, a barrier appeared, which started to clash with the attack of Han, as both of the attacks were now in the center. As Naruto pointed his hand towards him. That is amusing, push hard. Let's see how powerful you really are. As Han gritted his teeth as he started to release all of his energy into steam of attack, which started to glow further as he let out a roar, powering up all of his energy into the single attack, and now a beam of pure energy was gathered in his hand as he released it at the same time. It doesn't matter anymore. He was gonna die anyway, so he's gonna use all of his energy to kill this guy as he released all of his Biju's body and mode energy, and just like that, his aura finally, you can say, dissipated, and his eyes finally turned, you can say, white. While on the other hand, all of its energy slammed into Naruto as a huge explosion took place. As all of the place was turned into dust, a huge section of the village was now in ruin. As the shinobis who were now in the mid-air were suddenly released, as they were now on the ground, as they started to look around to the place and started to cheer. After some time, they realized that the villain was finally dead. They were saved. Han was a hero. He was their savior. But they quickly realized that the village wasn't damaged. They have to report it to Lord Tsuchikage. They have to report as soon, but before they could even say anything, a laughter could be heard. And finally, Naruto came out of the, you can say, whole place, laughing as his whole body has turned into, you can say, energy, as Naruto's aura was all over the place. His red aura, his hair had turned red. As Naruto looked towards all of them, his, you can say, disguise was no longer there. As Naruto looked towards them, finally, his aura calmed down as he returned back, as one shinobi finally realized who this guy was. You're the one, Naruto Namikaze, the son of Minato Namikaze. As Naruto looked towards him with an amused expression on his face, as the shinobis quickly realized, but then anger started to set in. After all, he was the son of their most hated enemy, and now he has come to their village, attacked so many people, killed off many of them, and almost destroyed all of the village, and they were angry about it. Today, you will die, completely forgetting that just a moment ago they were at his mercy. As Naruto simply shook his head. Well, that was a good experience of me using chakra, but it doesn't suit me. After saying that, he looked towards them. Well then, I want to test a technique, so hopefully you guys will allow me. After saying that, Naruto started to, you can say, gather his energy, and just like that, his whole body started to, you can say, grow and grow and grow. This was one of the abilities of Cell, if you guys do not know. Or rather, the ability of Piccolo, and within seconds, he was towering over the whole village as all the shinobis were taken aback. This was not one of the techniques of, you can say, Akamichi's. No, it was far above it, and they already know it, as they were taken aback as Naruto looked towards them, and now they were truly looking like ants. As Naruto simply shook his head, this was no longer fun. This was getting a bit boring. Maybe he should return back to the village so that he could see the face of Onuki. As Naruto simply nodded at that as he pointed his hand into the air. And just like that, the whole village of the stone was engulfed in energy. All that was left behind was a gigantic crater. As Naruto simply shook his head. That was boring, actually. But finally, he returned back to his original size. Maybe he should use it fighting some bijus. That would be fun. As Naruto thought in his mind. After thinking that, he decided to fly into the air and disappear from the hidden stone village. After all, there was still time for the Chunin exam to begin. While in Konoha, Anoki has just arrived. He was feeling a bit off for whatever reason, but he simply shrugged it off. After all, his shinobis were ready, as well as Raikage was in on the plan as well as Stand Village and the Sound Village. The only village they were unable to get was none other than the Keri, but they were in the midst of a civil war, so they would not join anyway. But you can say Anoki simply shook his head. Konoha has getting stronger by the years, and they can no longer tolerate it. They have the Uchiha clan, they have the Senju clan, they have the Hyuga clan. Even the Uzumaki and the Makaze clan are getting stronger by the years, so this would be their last opportunity to take out these villages as soon as possible. As they simply nodded at that, as Anoki decided to take his position, as well as after some time, the Raikage also arrived, giving Minato a look, but decided to take his position as well as you can say Raza, who was none other than Orochimaru. So they were finally here, as Minato looked towards them with a, you can say, strange expression on his face. He was feeling something was off with these people, but he has already given orders to his shinobi to get ready for anything, and the border patrol was rather strict at the moment. So they would be ready for anything. Just when Naruto was about to enter into the border of the land of fire, he noticed something was off. It seemed that there were some camps, as Naruto quickly realized that who these people were, and amused and you can say happy expression came to his face. Well, there was still time for Chunin exams to begin. Maybe he should have a bit of warm up, as Naruto thought in his mind. And just like that, Naruto's whole body started to, you can say, surrounded by energy as he was split into two as Naruto looked towards his, you can say, rather. This was one of the techniques of Tien Shenhan, or rather the abilities of Cell to, you can say, transform into two parts. As Naruto smirked at that. Well then, let's see who will take out more, as both of the halves said at the same time and smirked and disappeared into the two directions. In this time, in the camp of the shinobis of the Hidden Stone Village and in the camps of the shinobis of Hidden Lightning Village were present. All of them has gathered. Onoki has gathered over 5,000 shinobi, while on the other hand, the, you can say, Lightning Village has gathered over 7,000 shinobi as well as 5,000 shinobis from Hidden Sand Village and over 3,000 shinobis from the Sound Village and some experiments. So their force was around 20,000 shinobis, and they were confident that they will be able to take out Konoha as soon as possible with their cage level skills, and the complete fighting force of Konoha is no more than, after all, 15,000 shinobi. Not all shinobis are meant for fighting. They are still genin and they were still office workers. So the only fighting force of a village is around 10,000 to 12,000 and some cases around 15,000, but they simply shook their head. After all, they were confident in their victory. They will guard Konoha off guard, and then they will, but before they could complete their respective thoughts, two booms could be heard in the whole area. And in the center of the camps of both places, two figures had arrived. This was none other than Naruto, or rather his clones, as they looked towards the shinobis who were now getting ready, thinking that they were discovered. As Naruto looked towards them, well, this should be fun, as they said at the same time. And you can say, while on the side of, you can say, Hidden Lightning Village, as Naruto looked towards a, you can say, Jonin, who stepped forward as he said, "Who are you? And what are you doing here? Explain yourself," as Naruto simply smirked. While in the camp of the Hidden Stone Village, they did not even say anything. "Attack! Kill him!" as they said, as the Jonins rushed towards Naruto, ready to end him, as Naruto smirked at that. Well, I was hoping to, you can say, use this technique. Well, let's see if you guys are able to fight it off. As both of the clones decided to take seats, suddenly their bodies started to glow and their energy started to separate into 10 aberrations, and just like that, 10 mini-looking Narutos has appeared in the camps of both of the forces. The shinobis there were confused. Was this some kind of failed clone jutsu? While the mini-looking Naruto looked towards each other with a devilish look in their faces and rushed towards the center of the camps of the both forces and started to wreak havoc. As Naruto said, well, children, you are so proud of them. As Naruto almost, you can say, wipe up some fake tears from the eyes of both of his clones, while on the other hand, Jonins and Chunins that were present there trying to send signals, but this whole place was already covered, so no one was living here until Naruto's alloyed, and the Ravik and the destruction began afterward. But hey guys, I'm gonna end this part here. So if you guys have enjoyed it, please like to the channel and do comment. So for the next part, the like goal is gonna be, let's say about it, 200 likes, 80 comments. If you guys do that, and I shall upload the next part as soon as possible. So please guys subscribe to the channel as I want to reach 20k subscribers. So if you guys want to subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. And yeah guys, the link of my manhwa channel is in the description below. So please follow me on my manhwa channel as well and subscribe to that channel and comment on it. So yeah guys, see you soon and peace.